Good evening, Suzanne. How are you?
I'm well. How are you?
Oh, well, I'm just a hot mess as usual, getting this thing set up. Sorry about the delay, everybody. We're about 15 minutes past the hour of where we should have been. So, anyway, welcome.
Hey, no problem. Hey, we're just happy that you were able to get this thing off the ground because it's always an adventure, especially when we are going on Facebook.
Yeah,
Just being indie media, let's face it, that's an adventure.
it is an adventure. Absolutely. How's my sound? Does the sound okay to the audience?
Sounds good to me.
I'm getting ready to bring
What
in
I'm
their
hearing.
chat. So, give me a moment and we'll get TBA chat in here. So,
Yeah, we gotta get the folks in.
what are we talking about tonight?
Oh, we got a few things. We're gonna talk about Portland. We're gonna talk
Portland.
about progressives.
Yeah. Progressives.
Progressives.
Oh,
We're gonna talk about other indie media people. Uh, Not quite the same points that Jimmy Dore hit on, but a little bit, a little bit there. Um, we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about actually. I call him JK3, Joe Kennedy III, and the Markey race because that's near and dear to my heart. Being a Massachusetts resident and voter, my whole life as I was able to vote. Um, we're going to talk about who the real progressive is in that race, and you might be a little surprised.
all right. I will be surprised. Can you see the chat at all? I don't see it.
I'm not seeing it. Let me just see if the streaming and bomb with the bombers.
I think
Let's
it
see
is.
here.
Yeah, I see it streaming in TV. I think it's in TBA. Let me see here.
Uh, Not seeing it right now. Let me get out.
Yeah, I'm there. It's there. It's live. It's live. It's
Yeah,
live.
can you tag me?
Yeah, let me tag you. All this technical stuff. This is a dry run for some future work.
Yeah, it's just, what are we gonna do?
What are you
We
gonna
just
do?
last minute we decided to do this, and now pulling it together, it's yowzers. But I thought, I gotta say, overall, we do well. I mean, having worked with PBS, they have a whole studio and they have some great people behind that system. But going live remote was not as smooth as I thought it would be.
Well, we have humans in here, and YouTube anyway, and human says it's all good, so they can hear us in YouTube. And Jeff Pearson just joined in the TBA chat, so that's good.
Hey Jeff, how
Hey
are you?
Jeff, yeah, so they're
All right,
filing
I'm
in.
not seeing it. Can someone tag me
I'm
from
gonna
the chat?
I'm gonna put it in the window here for you in a second. So, cam 4. Kamala. All right. I think we've got some
Go that
chat.
way I can see it because it's really weird that I have to be tagged on my own.
Billy Howell's here. Chris
Group.
is here. There you go.
Oh, I see him. Okay.
Okay,
Cool.
we got that fixed. Okay.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah, speak into the mic. Speak into the. I got to speak.
Chris is there. Oh, so good to see you, Chris.
Hey, Chris.
Missed you. Chris
Yeah.
has had some. It hasn't been all ducky for her lately. She'll get that joke.
Yeah.
She's had some stuff to deal with. Billy Howell. Hey there. Getting the folks back. Can someone tag Cheryl Ann Butler so she knows where to find this? I can't because I couldn't find it myself.
Yeah. Can you get your mic a little closer?
Yeah. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Can you hear me better?
Can you? I'm gonna kick the gain up a little bit. Human can't hear you very well in the YouTube, so I'm gonna fix that right now. Human, let us know if I have accomplished
Margarita's
that.
here.
Margarita.
Jeff Pearson, Margarita.
Oh
Someone-
yeah.
Oh, all right. Husband's here. Cheryl Ann Butler's here. Good luck.
All right.
Finally.
I think I have overfixed the sound. Now it's probably blowing everybody out of their chairs. So
How's it sound, you guys?
how's it now?
In TBA, how's it sound?
Testing 1 2.
Testing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
There you go. We're having fun tonight. This is great.
Yeah.
Yes.
We're gonna have fun.
Yeah, you're gonna.
We have to.
What?
And whatever way we can find it.
Yeah, last week was a train wreck. It was such a train wreck for me. I had to take a week off, and it was so good. I had to take another week off. So I'm just slowly getting back into it.
You didn't take much of a week off. I talked to you on that week off. So who do you think?
Yeah, well, I try. Oh, now I can see. I can
Ray
see.
Tanner. All right, she says hello. All sounds good. Helen Ford, she's on. Helen, fruit cup man, fruit cup. You're just. What's happening to you? We haven't done this in so long. You've forgotten your fruit cup. Who got the fruit cup? I think Jeff Pearson gets the fruit cup. Jeff, good here. Jeff said the sound is fine. Billy says, Rick, it's a little loud to me.
Okay, I got the.
Maybe you can turn it down a teeny bit.
Okay, I got the white noise.
Smidge.
White noise kicked out, so that should be taken care of. And now we should be 5 by 5. I'm hoping.
Okay. Hi guys. I've missed you guys. Yeah, we're overdue. We're overdue for a yoga session. Yoga session, not a hot yoga session, but well, it's almost 100 degrees here, so if you're in Massachusetts, it's a hot yoga session. What can I say? Ah, Helen, there you go. Man, you're slacking, Helen. She hasn't done a fruit cup in a while. We're all slacking, right? Yeah. Okay. So, Rick, are you good?
I think I am now. We had another incarnation of sound in the background, so there was a little echo. Going to wait for that to run out. So I would say 1, 2, 3, go.
1, 2, 3, go. All right. So I don't know what you guys want to talk about. I'm looking at the stream. I can see the comments, which I love. Thank you, Rick.
Sure.
But this is also going out to Fritz. Yoga. Yeah, like what is it? What's that movie from the day? Animal House. Toga. Yeah. Okay, so we are in. Tell us again where we're streaming. We're streaming exclusively into Truth Bomb Activists because that's home for me. Cindy K joined. Go ahead, Rick.
Yeah, we're in YouTube on Uphill Media Live via the Roar Media Live network people, which is me and Suzanne, and then we're also on Rockfin tonight.
Cool. So
Yeah.
we're on another platform tonight.
Yeah.
Okay, so what are we going to talk about? I'll tell you some of what's on my mind. Portland, other cities that Trump has talked about, threatened to
Seattle below us.
Stormtroopers too.
Seattle.
What was that?
Seattle below us in the
Seattle,
picture. Yeah.
Seattle.
Yeah.
He best not think about sending them to Boston.
No, Chicago's on his menu though.
Chicago is definitely on the menu. So we'll talk about that. I want to talk about in particular the quote unquote progressive reaction to that. I want to talk about some of the things that we're seeing. We talked a little bit about, or we want to talk a little bit about what Jimmy Dore had to say. And you saw the whole thing. I didn't see it all, so you can fill us in a little bit. I saw enough of it. And I also want to talk about who I call JK3, and that's Joe Kennedy III. He's in a very important race and a tight race. He has a lead. He's had the lead for a while now over the incumbent Ed Markey, who's been in federal government. He's been a congressman and then a senator for a total of I think like 40 years. The guy is a relic, And it's not about ageism for me. It's about being in the same place for so long, whether it's in Congress or whether it's, as a congressman or a senator. The guy has done really nothing, okay? But he's being heralded as, and I'm from Massachusetts, so I'm telling you, I believe the poll was like about 30% or more of Massachusetts residents do not even know he's our senator. That's how absent he has been, okay? And he's been Johnny come lately. He's being held out as being the Green New Deal guy, okay? He co-signed with that bill. He didn't author it. And from my understanding, he signed on to it. He's a co-sponsor of it. That's my understanding, and we can have I guess we're going to have more on that, that he did not actually author the bill. And Green New Deal, as far as I'm concerned, if you're really a progressive, if you're really an activist, whether it's AOC, whether it's Bernie Sanders endorsing it, it's garbage. Most of it's just garbage. It's useless. If you really are an environmentalist, you're going to realize that it doesn't really have the things in it that's going to do a lot for our environment. But they're patting themselves on the back and they're glad handing each other as though if it were some really amazing um, piece of legislation that's going to change things in the environment. It really isn't going to do much. The real Green New Deal legislation is what the Green Party came up with. That's a serious environmental platform and policy. Um, and that's not what AOC is endorsing or Pelosi's endorsing. When you're talking cap and trade, right off the bat, I don't know about you, Rick, but right off the bat for me, it's like, carbon credits. That's not Green New Deal. I mean, that's it's not doing it. Um, let's see. Thank you for raising the volume. Oh, it's okay now.
Yeah,
I thought it was too high.
no, it varies. It varies, and probably me. I need to kick mine back, and so that yours balances out. It varies from platform for some reason. So I'm trying to hit that sweet spot, but it
Okay.
should be pretty good right here. I'm thinking.
All
So
right. So I'm going to talk about that. Went off on a little bit more than I wanted to, but surprise, surprise. I know Bernie Sanders has endorsed rather Joe Kennedy's opponent, who is the incumbent, Ed Markey, um, and he also endorsed Joe Biden. Okay, so AOC and Bernie endorsing somebody, and Jane Fonda coming out to endorse Markey, and he's all over social media. He's all over YouTube. You can't watch stream a video without seeing Markey, reminding us how important he is, even though I'm telling you, as a Massachusetts resident and a progressive who's been very active in the progressive community, locally and nationally. I've never met the guy. He's never even come out here. So I don't know what the heck kind of progressive he is. Um, and they have really come after Joe Kennedy for having the temerity to run against the incumbent progressive, which uh, he's not. He's the incumbent. He's not a progressive. Anyway, so Rick, you there?
you betcha.
Okay, so I want to ask you about Portland. You've had a lot to weigh in on that. Where are you at with what's been going on?
Well, I wish I could be down there with everybody. We had the Convo Couch was down there last week, and they got gas. The Bernie van got its windows smashed. I watched it over the weekend, and they were using pepper spray and shooting gas canisters at moms, dads, nurses, veterans, things like that. There's a horrific video of a veteran that I would like to play here in a minute or two,
Yeah,
just so
could
you
you
guys to
please?
see that.
I don't think enough people have seen this.
No, and I will say that a lot of people out there are. I believe they are in there being paid to put these protesters in a bad light so they
Oh,
can use it
absolutely.
in the mainstream propaganda media just to get everybody thinking, oh, these protesters are just a bunch of hippies trying to get free stuff, which
Right,
is
right.
totally against it. So,
They're all anarchists.
anarchists.
They're Antifa, where they don't even really actually know what Antifa is. I have seen, and what really bothers me is I have seen some quote unquote progressives biting on this. They actually think that we're taking the bait with the neoliberals, and that we are somehow parroting the neoliberal talking points where they don't understand it. First of all, what's your definition of neoliberal? Because have you heard Biden out there slamming what Trump is doing? No, not really. He said one thing. You know what that thing is? On a Reuters interview, he said that Trump's actions were egregious. End of story. Full stop. That was it. Didn't come out strongly against it. I have not, unless somebody can drop a link and show me. I've seen nothing from Biden. He should be condemning this. He should be on every single major network talking about this. He's not. He's not. You should be seeing videos. You should see slamming him and hold a press conference, even if it's virtually. I've seen nothing. If anybody else has seen it, let me know. Please drop a link because uh, he has. I was on that last week a lot. Where's Biden? Where's Biden? Where's Biden? And Bernie Sanders is endorsing Biden, and everybody's endorsing Biden, and I get it. Okay, our two choices are Trump or Biden right now. Uh, I can tell you, I would rather see Biden in than Trump, but it scares the crap out of me to even say that. Okay, because if we look at logically, if we look at the fact that he has not been condemning this the way he should have been. He's not been blowing this up where he could have created an incredible amount of separation between him and Trump. Um, and then we look at what happened with Obama and how Obama allowed, I believe it was Blackwater. Did we ever confirm that? I think it did. Blackwater.
Yeah, Prince's group. They went in there to North Dakota and started shooting and beating the hell out of the North Dakota people. So yeah, Eric Prince, by the way, Betsy DeVos's evil twin, brother-in-law. That's right.
Or brother-in-law.
Yeah.
And Nico House had a post that I put up that they had some connection to with the Tiki Torch group, the white nationalists.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah.
So, if you take a look at, use logic and apply, past performance, as they say with stock portfolios, don't always indicate future. But, if you look at the fact that Biden was the vice president under Obama's administration, Obama kicked the whole DAPL thing down kicked that can down the road to Trump because he didn't have the you-know-whats to take a stand against the fossil fuel industry and with the indigenous tribes. He didn't have the you-know-whats to do it. So he kicked it down to Trump because he knew where Trump was going to go with that.
And he empowered Trump to overstep the Constitution that's supposed to protect us. He gave him the NDAA and all that other crap, So
exactly, gave him all the tools.
All the tools
he needed.
Yeah, don't try and tell me they were so sure that Hillary Clinton was going to be in office thinking we're going to give Hillary all these tools so she can crack heads too. The logic just doesn't flow there. I just don't get it. So it's
they were taking care of corporate America and the fossil fuel industry either way. Either way.
Obama said, Helen said, he said, let it play out. Obama said, let it play out. What happened to your comfortable shoes there, Obama? You going to get down there and protest with us or what?
Why didn't he let Bernie Sanders play out?
Yeah, what? Because
that didn't get to play out. We weren't allowed to let that play out. That needed to be stopped. Okay, so he stepped up. He marshaled. He got all the establishment and marshaled all the forces he needed to with the establishment Democrat machine to make sure Bernie Sanders was pressured to drop out well before the convention.
Well, yeah, absolutely. And after the first four primaries, and history says that whichever candidate wins the first two or three, New Hampshire and whatever, usually historically goes on to win. And that one with
Iowa.
Yeah, Iowa. And Buttigieg didn't win that. They did not do that. So actually Bernie won 4. And it should have been a slaughter in California, but because we have some independent media investigating, a lot of that stuff got co-opted into those fake ballots they have there. It was a mess. So here, Obama's overlords are telling him, hey, Brock, you better get in there and circle the wagons. So call Jimmy down there, Clyburn, and tell him to make sure that they endorse Joe Biden, and that's what it did. Plus all the election fraud that they committed in the primary. So you can.
But let it play out. Let
it all play out. It's ridiculous. So we can't have it.
So the point being is, what's going on here? What is disturbing for me, and Rick, you and I talked about this earlier. Oh, Rhonda joined us. Hey, Rhonda.
Hi, Rhonda.
What's disturbing for me is the fact that I'm watching progressives And I don't know if they're just not reading, and that's fine. I'm not the only person posting on this, but I was posting pretty vigorously um, about the fact that we need to have a nuanced understanding of what's going on. And you've got these people who aren't keeping up, aren't watching, and they're commenting and they're saying, you know, uh, these troops are these paratroopers, these stormtroopers are justified. These are anarchists. It's like, what the hell are you talking about?
Yeah, what are you talking
Pay
about?
attention to what's actually going on. They're not all Antifa, whatever that is, and that's a whole nother discussion. Okay, these are peaceful moms that were locking arms. There was that. Did you find the footage? A really cool Navy vet who was nonviolent, a big, big guy. He could have taken somebody out. I'm sure just.
I don't have that footage
Oh,
of that particular one. That gentleman got his hand busted and bruises
yeah.
all over. But what I do have is the latest vet, and this was from this weekend. I'll play a part of it
Please
and
do.
and just take a look. Enjoy, not so much.
Injured and dead soldiers off of helicopters. This is why I did this. Well, I took an oath to defend my country. And then when I got to Vietnam, we committed atrocities. We committed atrocities every single day when I was in Vietnam. I took an oath to defend this government. And when I got to Vietnam, we committed atrocities. I stood next to a ditch in Vietnam, and we murdered 170 Vietnamese people. And you guys don't know that.
Sir, are you all right?
Well, that was a direct spray.
Yeah, so they sprayed him in the face with pepper spray. Sure, he was in there yelling at him, but again, really, a veteran?
So what? You can't handle.
Yeah.
You're in fatigues. You're armed, and you can't handle an actual soldier who went to Vietnam and is speaking truth to you. You can't handle that. You got to spray him.
No, they were spraying.
What kind of coward are you?
They were spraying women moms through the fence. So at the courthouse. So they don't care.
The Navy vet that I saw, I don't know if that guy was a Navy vet. Was he? He wasn't Navy. 'Cause
He was a Vietnam veteran. Yeah, he was
he's
just a
Vietnam vet.
Vietnam
The Navy
veteran.
vet I saw, that was also incredible. I mean, he's standing there and he's at the line and he's talking to them, and he's not armed. He's clearly not angry. He's clearly not threatening in his body language, in his stance, his position. He's trying to talk to them, and they start wailing on him with their batons and fractured. I think they fractured both hands, bones in both hands, unprovoked. So
Introducing.
Go ahead.
when people are and they attack the moms that had their arms linked, again, no weapons. These are people that are expressing, it's our constitutional right to gather and to assemble, to petition our government wherever they may be for redress on our grievances. It's in our constitution. Okay, very important. Freedom of speech, freedom of the press. The press isn't free. The press has been captured. And so when I hear progressives telling me or telling others, and it's not even just me personally, because I don't personally care. They can say what they want, they can think what they want. But when they start pretending to lecture actual progressives that we are neoliberals and we're taking the bait and we are somehow condoning legitimate police activity. They're attacking our buildings. Our buildings, really? You're concerned that much about our buildings?
Yeah,
I
it's
mean,
it's the graffiti. So
yeah,
it's,
the graffiti or lighting things on fire. Yeah. Do I think violence is wrong? I absolutely do. I think it's wrong for all parties. So, you know what? I'm morally consistent on that. I don't think protesters should be beating people up, but drill down and find out who these protesters are. They are not the peaceful ones that I'm talking about. Who they are white nationalists, white supremacists. They have been found. They have been actually taken into custody. I have seen videos of them. I have seen videos of white people spray painting BLM and Black Lives Matters, and yet nothing, not doing anything with the black movement, not being peaceful, when Black Lives Matter protesters are actually saying to them, please stop doing that. Please stop defacing the property. Please stop doing these things. You're hurting our movement. Because what are they doing? They are gaslighting the Black Lives Matter movement. Because the Black Lives Matter movement managed to go mainstream. And I don't know about you, Rick, but this is a little bit where the rub is for me. It's almost like as soon as an issue starts to gain some traction, and it gets embraced even a bit by mainstream media, which in a way, yeah. Do I like mainstream media? No. I get the point. Do I trust them? No. Do I think the Democrats are going to take that and exploit it? And am I real happy with the Democrat Party generally? No, I'm not. The establishment party? I'm not. Anybody that knows me understands that. But I am not going to back off of an issue just because they're using it to club Trump with it, just because they're using it to exploit it politically. They always will. So when that becomes a line in the sand where you stop being a progressive, then I'm going to tell you you're not a progressive. You're not. You're kind of just a Trump hater. I mean, rather just a Hillary hater or a Democrat hater. You're not really a progressive because you're allowing your feelings and how you feel about the Democrat Party, which is legit, which hold on to that. Let that inform you, but you're allowing that to get into the way of being a freaking human being, in my opinion. You're allowing that. They're controlling you in an inverse scenario. They're controlling you because they're in your head and they're renting space in your head. They're controlling you enough still so that you can't even own that issue, in my opinion, properly. It's distorted. It's inverted. So you're not going to call out what's being done to human beings, citizens, U.S. citizens, legit people, legit peaceful protesters in the streets, because it might somehow be a backhanded slam to Trump. They might get one up on Trump. No, I look at it this way. Trump fed that to them. I think you said it, Rick, earlier. Biden is like running against a tree stump. And yet he's doing well. Why? Not because he's actually doing well. He's doing well because Trump handed him something. If they're pointing a gun at you, Trump is stupid enough to put rounds in their chamber. I don't get it. So it really bugs the crap out of me when please don't pretend to lecture anybody that I know and value as progressives. If you aren't nuanced and you aren't doing your homework and you're not up to speed on it, then I feel like you should get up to speed, or you should probably not be attacking other people who are actually doing the research.
Why the hell would you vote for a candidate in the first place? The issues, okay? What are the issues that motivate you to vote for that candidate? Well, we have one issue right now. We have Trump, who is face planting on the biggest catastrophic event we've had probably ever. Ever. So, and this was what we talked about before. He would easily wipe Biden out had not been for the pandemic. I believe that he would have wiped Biden by the floor, because look what you have in the cloth that Biden is cut from. He's cut from the criminal, the bills he's written in the past, the
crime bill, yeah.
The crime bill. He's talked about cutting Social Security, Medicare, all these things. He wants it all on the table. This guy is in the position now, the lucky position where we have so many people in this country suffering from TDS, and a president who is doing everything he possibly can to lose the election this cycle. And that might be something to think about too. Maybe he doesn't want to be president anymore. The only reason that
if you don't want to be president, he doesn't have to run.
Yeah,
it's simple.
Yeah, but it's his ego. His ego runs this guy. He looks like Mussolini. He talks like Mussolini.
Yeah. I'll differ with you on that because I feel like if he didn't, and I agree with you almost every point, Rick. But here's where you and I might part on this one, and we don't often. But I will tell you, I don't have a lot of belief that he's trying to implode this thing, and because of his ego. Since he made the decision to run, he wants to win. Okay, the man does not want to lose. Of course, nobody wants to lose. But in terms of him trying to tank no, I don't think so. I think he's just literally in that echo chamber of where he believes, and the Democrats have done it too, where he believes what the incoming. There's like a disconnect, a dissonance, and they get like that. The emperor wears with the no clothes thing. I believe. He truly believes that the non-mask wearers and the people who were out there at the beaches and the people who were out there, gathering and not socially distancing, and all the freedom fighters and all the people that, have always supported him, they're all ginned up. They're all pumped up. They're like, yeah, this is our moment. We're gonna take back our country. And I really think that he's counting on that. He really thinks that that's what's going to happen. That they are the silent majority, and that people are. That's going to lift him past COVID, and he overplayed his hand.
Well, he's trying to catch up now with the drug importation thing. He wants the American drug prices to be in parity with the Canadian drug prices now, which is too little, too late. The other thing is that he's trying to get them to push through another stimulus. I think they did something on it today, but that does not fix the problem of the employment, the unemployment, the jobs going away, everything else. This is not a moment to play the same old political games. The Democrats run Portland or Seattle. They're failed administrations, so we have to step in and take care of it. We have to be the adults in the room. He's going to try every angle, but I'll tell you one thing. If Biden does, and he should at this point, pull it off in November, Trump will still say the election was rigged and that Biden did not actually win. Whether he leaves the office or not, and I still can't believe that people think or say, or I disagree with them, that he will refuse to leave office once the election's over. But he will say that the election was rigged and just throw his hand in the air.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I think you can almost count on that.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably right now.
You're assured that.
Yeah, you are absolutely. And I think Sherilyn said something here. It doesn't matter what Biden does. Trump's sending goons down to beat up people and, do his fascist act on Portland and these stuff. Yeah, he is. It doesn't matter what Biden.
I got to tell you what, I think even the COVID thing, I think that was, we were hearing that he was cooked on that. I even think that he could have come back from. Okay, I even though I didn't like the way he handled it, and I don't like the way even what he's doing now. I mean, it's almost an admission of that he hasn't had this thing right. But I think that is not as damaging when you really saw the what was happening in Portland when he started sending in the troops. I'm telling you right now, I think that's where you're going to see the biggest turning away from him. You're going to, when you start taking military action, and that's what it is. Those are not police officers.
No, those
aren't police officers.
That's a huge mistake. Although it will solidify the part of his demographic that will support him come hell or high water. I mean, that excites them. They enjoy seeing that. Yeah, send them in there and take out all those rioters. They're burning the flag. That's going to solidify that.
But it's not working. It's not playing well. It's not playing well in the polls. I'm telling you right now, it's not playing well. The response. You look in social media. You look in.
Oh yeah,
you look in even mainstream media. It's disturbing enough mainstream media, and that goes back to my point. Just because MSNBC covered it, I can't stand MSNBC. Okay, and just because some mainstream media state networks are covering it, They were for quite a while before, even while indie media was calling out really what was going on, and we were seeing the real footage. Mainstream media was not picking up the story.
No,
Rick,
no.
They were calling them violent protesters.
Yes.
These
Yeah.
BLM violent protesters. Now they've seen the footage, and enough of it's gotten around, and enough of it's gaining traction. It's like, oh man, we can't, for our own credibility, and they were disturbed themselves. This is not cool. We can't ignore this.
If we didn't have people in the streets with smartphones recording this,
Right.
law enforcement,
Right.
MSNBS, the rest of them would be on the same narrative they were before. But we have proof and evidence. And those who always trash YouTube and social media oh, that's not news, that's propaganda.
Right.
I would tell you to look the other way. The mainstream media is corporate-owned propaganda, and they're going to do whatever their sponsors tell them. I'm preaching to the choir here. Whereas you have
Right.
independent journalists getting beat up and gassed in the streets. How does it benefit them to lie about this situation? It doesn't. They don't get paid.
No, they're not getting paid. They're doing it for the right reason. So, but the reality is, I'm not going to keep. When MSNBC, when I saw and Democracy Now. Okay, when I saw that these other more acceptable mainstream.
Those were the exact words you just said to me. I want to put
media
Chris
outlets
David,
were covering-
video of
I got some
53-year-old
feedback.
Chris
Sorry.
David.
There you go. You all right?
Yep.
Okay.
When I saw that they were covering this and I posted it, I knew that there's going to be this subset group of quote unquote progressives that there were it would be knee jerk that they weren't gonna like it. It's like, okay, when these outlets actually are forced to pay attention and cover what we've been saying, then what's the problem? That's where I have a problem. It's like, okay, I don't like them. I don't like a lot of the people I see on Twitter who were slamming Bernie, slamming Sanders people in 2016 and now, and in this last election cycle, suddenly saying, and slamming M4, suddenly saying, M4 all is actually, we had it wrong, I had it wrong, or that they changed teams. Okay, so isn't the point to move the needle, to move people? Granted, some of them are going to be full of what when they say it, but isn't it the point to kind of get people and get organizations and get outlets to shift to our narratives and to shift to our understanding? If that is the objective, and that's my objective, I want mainstream media to start carrying things, or start feeling like they have to cover their start carrying some segments and some reporting on things that we're reporting on. That's kind of like one of my objectives. So when that happens, and you got people who are just like literally habitual naysayers. They are in a negative critical cycle. They wouldn't understand a good event if it happened to us. And so they have to tear down people and scenarios and situations when they don't deserve it. So what happens? It discredits them later. That is my opinion. It's like, if you can't accept the value of a situation where we are able to migrate an issue from indie media, from fringe media, from purely the progressive, very left side of the paradigm, and we're able to then start moving that into a more of a national discussion, like what happened with Black Lives Matter. That's a good thing. Okay, it's not a bad thing because they're clubbing Trump over the head with it. Good.
Yeah,
because it's not about Trump and the Democrats. Damn it, it's about the Black Lives Matter. Yeah. Like, did you miss that point?
Yep.
So it just. Sorry,
Well,
it just
no,
fires me up when I see
what are you
that crap.
apologizing for? I mean, everybody feels the same way. I think people are relating with you now and will continue to relate with you because you're speaking truth to power. Here's what's going to happen. They're going to try and evict people. They're going to cut the benefits. It's going to get a lot worse before it gets better. Don't plan on having NFL this fall. Don't plan on having Thanksgiving as it's been in the past. Christmas is trashed, and people are going to be losing their jobs. And unless they do some deficit spending to pump up the economy, more people are going to be thrown out on the streets, and they're going to add to our ranks. What's going to happen is the MSNBSs and CNNs and ABCs are going to have to go with the people on this because they are not going to benefit from this catastrophe unless they start getting with the people who are in the streets or burn all your credibility for any future things. Because you can say all you want about people have short memories, but this memory is going to be a nightmare that's going to be a gift that keeps on giving. We're on the precipice of the collapse. I'm not on a street corner saying the world is coming to an end, although I could be. But
Right.
you just wait. When everybody starts getting hit in their wallet harder and harder and harder, and the rich become richer through this, through socializing
Through
these
this wealth
corporations.
extraction. I
Yeah,
mean,
it's horrible.
They've gamed the system again.
Yeah.
And I am not a conspiracy theorist, but I try to be a keen observer of what's going on around us. And there's enough in the COVID-19 events that, whether it's how we've handled things or not handled them, the genesis of the virus and the backstories to that, and all of it, that if you look back on the social media, if you look back on reporting and the articles, the events in late 2019 and in third quarter 2019, Rick and you and I were talking about it. I know other people were talking about it, and I was putting up information about the overnight lending and the fact that there was a liquidity problems between the banks, and it didn't really hit the ground because it wasn't a retail issue. It wasn't a retail banking issue. It was a bank to bank, large banks that loan to the small banks, and large banks that lend to each other to cover their daily deposits, their daily transactions.
That was
There was
trillions of dollars injected at that time.
billions for months.
For
It
months.
wasn't just a week. It was for
Was
for
it
months.
billions? I thought it was in upwards of $5 trillion over a 6-week period. No?
I remember billions. It could have gone into trillions. I'm not gonna say.
No,
that I know
it's just
exactly.
it was
I
an
don't-
incredible
I-
amount of money. So
Yeah, it could have ended up being trillions, but I
Yeah.
know I lost count because it became ridiculous.
Yeah.
It was an infusion that nobody talked about, certainly nobody wanted to focus on, and it was the first indication, it was a harbinger of what was to come, which meant that there was a liquidity problem because where was the money? The money was being extracted, it was being taken out of our system because those that knew were in the know well in advance of everybody else. The powers that be, the elites, the oligarchs, they knew to extract their money, to take their money out. So they were all taking their money out. They were putting it in places where it'd be safe in a down market because they knew what was going to happen in 2020. I mean, you don't have to be a wizard to figure that out. You just have to look, it's all out there in the public domain. And you have to understand that it's, you don't have to have an MBA. You don't have to be a banking and finance expert to see, just do the math. There was a serious tightening. There was a lack of money in the banking system, the Treasury, because of what happened in 2008, because of the Dodd-Frank bill and all the bills that got passed. They no longer had to go to Congress. They got rid of that. You don't have to go to Congress, and you don't have to petition anybody to pass a bill to give them this bank infusion. They wanted to make it more efficient, so they made it more efficient. So it was just it's an automatic. The Treasury infused all these billions, and as Rick says, potentially it was trillions of dollars into the banking system, into our economy, and their money was safe. Their money, I'm sure, is safe. And they're obviously, how did they make more money after COVID-19 happened? Because they knew where to put their money on the down market. Pretty easy math, not hard to follow. So you look at that, and I think, that they knew, whether it was, again, they're competing schools of thought. You have Trumper people saying that they're crashing this economy on purpose to make him look bad, to take away the edge of the financial, being able to brag about the economy in his 2020 campaign. Do I think there could have been some of that? Probably. I'm not a Trump fan, but at the same time, I'm not blind to what could be a logical argument. But I do think, even if it weren't intentional, they certainly knew how to maximize and exploit the scenario. And I think that with COVID-19, it just gave them cover. Here's the big event that gives us cover. It's a way the economy, we can let the economy crash now.
Not even cover, but another angle on how to enrich themselves. The CARES Act is disgusting. We just had 130 some odd Democrats vote against lowering the defense budget by 10%, which is a crime. Bernie's bill. And all of our reps in Washington State, Dem reps, voted against it. That in itself should be enough to have them voted out in the next cycle. And I pinned it to all the tops of my groups. You can check it out.
Who were the ones that actually voted for it? Wasn't it a really small number?
Yeah, there were 90. There were
93.
93. Yeah, it was. It was 93 to 139, I believe, and I've even got the list here. It's the clerkhouse.gov. The ones that voted for it, Amash.
I mean, you don't have to list them all.
But 93 to 93 to nays 324. Most of them were Republicans. No Republican voted yes, not one.
Well, of course.
But quite a few of the Democrats voted nay as well. Marcy Kaptur. Let me see.
I'm sure that Jamoke in Virginia.
What's the name?
What's his name there? He's a Democrat, but he's a Republican. Manchin, what's his last name?
Joe Manchin, yeah, he voted against it too.
He would have voted no, right? Because he's in Virginia, right?
Yeah, you're right. Adam Smith in Washington State. He's on the military board. Matter of fact, he just closed a deal with the military that he could resign tomorrow and he'll be swimming in cash forever. It just makes me sick that so many of these Democrats voted against that bill. 10%. Come on, 10%. Really? Larson, Washington State. Who else are you looking for here? Just tons of them. I'm looking. They're all. I follow so much.
Tom Cotton, obviously.
Oh well, he's crazy anyway.
He's a senator. Yeah.
Yeah. Louis Gohmert. He's like the loser number one in Texas. He's, but again, it's you talk about unity. The only unity that these Democrats have, who voted against the bill, are unified with the Republicans on all of these bills that have anything to do with the military-industrial complex, big pharma, and everything else we've got. And honestly,
you see what Markey did? Do you have Markey's vote?
Ed Markey. Let me look here.
Senate bill. He had to have voted.
That was the Senate. I just have the House bill here. I don't have the Senate one. I'm sure he did, though.
Because I would guess he would have voted with Sanders, and Sanders would have voted. The two of them would have voted together. Because suddenly him and Sanders are like Mutt and Jeff.
Well, yeah, and that's the other thing. The only one in Washington State who's a Democrat who voted yes in favor of it was the guy that's running for Lieutenant Governor Denny Heck, and he is an establishment hack from the word go, but he's running for Lieutenant Governor. He was the 10th congressional, or is right now, but he wants. I think he's got his sights set on becoming governor after Inslee. So that's the only reason you got there. So. But anyway, yeah, it's they're not working for you. It's the big club, and it's the wealthy against the people as usual. And these people, a lot of them in here, I'm sure they had other motivations than voting the right way. But a lot of them are trying to. They see the future as it's. I see it, and they better start getting with a stick, or they're going to be gone. Now, the Movement for the People's Party have been offering. They've been going to the houses of these reps, and I think
I saw that.
Yeah, they're basically kicking them out. They're just giving them letters and to kick them out of their jobs. They're done with them. So I think that's
You're
where
welcome, Michael.
we all need
No
to
problem. I'm just watching the feed here. I want to see what those guys have to say. Some of us have known it for years. Oh, they're reminiscing here. Okay. Any points you guys want us, bombers, want us to talk about, to bring up?
Yeah. By the way, Debbie Wasserman Schultz voted with the Republicans again. Just if you didn't think she did.
Wow, what a surprise! I'm just stunned.
What a surprise! What a surprise!
Let me grab my imaginary pearls. Let me clutch them.
Yeah. Shall we close this out with the Navy vet that you wanted to see getting the hell beat out of him?
Yeah, I wanted. Yeah, you found it. Thank you.
I think this will work. Let me see if it works. Let me know. I will fire it over here right now.
I don't know if you can see this, but this happened over the weekend.
Yeah, I cannot.
Chris David is a 53-year-old Navy veteran. You can see him. He's the large man there. Our audience can see him. You can't. But he's standing still, and he's being hit repeatedly with batons there. Is that what you mean when you say the federal officers are being unusually threatened?
What you have there is Marshal Service folks. You don't have DHS officers.
Yeah. So whatever.
Does it matter?
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
A difference with a distinction without a difference.
Yeah, and
These are federally paid stormtroopers. They're there on behalf of the federal government. Trump admitted to sending them.
Yeah, that's CNN trying to stay in the middle lane. So
Yeah,
it's
well,
like,
that video isn't middle lane. So what do you have here? You have
Marquis.
some information about Marquis.
Yeah, you want to go on to Markey here? So
Yes, so a little bit. I did talk about it earlier when we started the feed out of order, but just so, can you see the graphic here? Markey takes money from PACs, from super PACs. Okay. See this here? You go up. Go up at the top. See, it says PACs. Wait, no, you go up one more. Go up a little
One
bit
more?
right there. That
Okay.
first section. No,
all right,
you went by it.
all right.
Go up.
Slow.
Keep going. Keep going.
Going,
keep going.
yeah.
Right, you want to get where it says top contributors right there. Blackstone. See there, Blackstone Group.
Yeah.
Okay, from PACs, he has 0, 0, 0. Google Inc. 55. Was that 5,500? From PACs, he's got, but it shows the total. So that's from 2015 to 2020. Blackstone Group. Now go down to the next group here.
Lawyers and law firms.
Lawyers and
Securities
law firms,
investment.
946,000. PACs 75,000. 9,500 securities investment. Retirement. Well, retired people don't have PACs generally, not directly.
Yeah, yeah. And honestly, Suzanne, that's just the half of it, because those individual donations, those are all bundled. They're bundled.
Right.
That's how they get those. So it's all poorly disclosed money. It's bundled. These aren't individuals. They're groups. They're just like a PAC. They should be in the PAC column as far as I'm concerned.
Well, let's talk about retired here, though. I want to talk about that, okay? So let's see, retired, you got $733,789 total individuals. It's the same thing. Okay. So do you think that these are people who are living on their Social Security? These are people who are very wealthy, retired elites. Retired, they're not working. Maybe they might have retired, at 30. That they want to protect their lifestyle. Okay, so they're taking care of the establishment candidate, and that's Markey. All right, and they're far more money is flowing to him than. Do you have the one for Joe Kennedy?
No, I can bring it up. Why don't you talk about it?
Okay, so Joe Kennedy. I mean, I don't have it in front of me, but I can tell you, I did a side-by-side comparison on Joe Kennedy versus Markey. Joe Kennedy, 0 from PACs, 0. Okay, so he doesn't take that PAC money. He has taken money from individuals, from high-income individuals, because those are usually the ones that can donate money. And let's see, he's pulling it up now. Open Secrets. There you go. Can you guys see it?
Not yet.
That's
but
on
they
the
will
stream,
be able
right?
to,
Okay,
yeah.
hold on.
There
a
you
minute.
go.
He's got it.
All right, PAC 00000.
See that?
0.
Right there.
And individuals from Bain Capital.
Right,
I can,
right.
and then you've got the Crescent Capital, another capital group.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's not even close to what Markey's raking
No.
in. So
Now let me tell you about Bain Capital. It certainly has a stigma to it, in Massachusetts. But here's the reality: being from Massachusetts, Bain Capital has a ton of employees in Massachusetts. Their corporate headquarters. It's like Boeing in Seattle, right? They're all over. You can't tee up a golf ball anywhere in Boston and in any direction and not hit people who have worked or have been or working for Bain. They spread their money everywhere because they love to hedge their bet. But they are squarely behind Ed Markey. Why? Because Ed Markey is an establishment, absolutely an establishment incumbent. He has been AWOL. I have never seen that man once come out to Western Mass. He probably has been, but I don't know when, because he must have snuck out for lunch and snuck back, because he has not done anything at all that I'm aware of. And that's why for him to be heralded as this amazing progressive, no, he's not. Joe Kennedy, by the way, with Jayapal, he's sponsored in 2017 or 2018, 2017. He sponsored the Medicare for All bill as a young congressman. Okay, that's leadership. I want to see somebody who's willing to piss off the establishment, and you know what? Not just to piss him off, but to piss him off because he's willing to pull or push progressive policies. Joe Kennedy is not a perfect candidate. Bernie Sanders is not, okay? But he's a hell of a lot better than Ed Markey. He's willing to risk ticking off the establishment by daring to run against a well-established senator that's part of the already in office.
how long's Markey been in that
and
seat?
They don't want him doing that.
How long's Markey been in
there? That tells
there?
me a lot about who he is. He's not afraid to tick people off.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Rick,
How long's Markey been in that seat?
if I'm correct, I think it's 7 years.
7 years.
It will be 7 years in Senate, I think.
In Senate.
I'm not entirely sure. I'm almost positive he's definitely less than 10, but he's been 40 years total in Washington because he was a congressman before then.
Yeah. And so he's a lifelong politician. That's how he's made his money over the years. I'd like to see his net worth from when he started to where he finished, just like Nancy Pelosi. I'd like to see what she started with now that she's over 100 million, and her only job has been,
Right.
in government. So
Right.
there you go.
And yes, Helen, Bain Capital was Romney was with Bain Capital.
Oh yeah,
One of his-
yeah, absolutely, Helen.
Yeah.
And they're the ones that basically cratered Toys R Us recently. They put them out of business, and they were a profitable company. So
Bain Capital is also very deeply involved with Equifax.
your favorite, mine too.
my
Someday.
favorite.
Your favorite. So yeah, and more is going to come on that. The more we get deeper into this stuff, the more that people start waking up and speaking out, the more people that get thrown on the streets, our numbers are going to increase exponentially. So again,
People are paying attention because it's starting. What did we talk? We've talked about this before. It doesn't become real until it affects them.
Yeah.
It starts affecting middle class. It starts affecting people who can actually have some pain points, and they're out of their comfort zone, And COVID-19 has pushed us all out of our comfort zone.
Yeah,
I mean,
well-
it's even pushed people with money out of their comfort zone, because all of a sudden we have this shift in our reality about our daily lives, and the things that we take refuge in our families, our traditions, our gatherings, our ability to walk the paths we normally walk in a day, and return safely to home base. All of that's changed. We can't just dart into a grocery store. We can't just get our hair done. We can't. Everything has to be thought through. Whether it's school, whether it's our meals, whether it's every facet of our life has been touched because of this. So we're naturally in a pretty heightened state of discomfort. So our tolerance for a lot of other things is lower, which makes sense. It's logical. So we're looking at things, I think, with more side eye, a little bit more critically, and wanting to know, how did we get to this place? Because I don't know about you guys, but I really got disgusted pretty fast with, if you wear a mask, you're a neo-lib, or you're a Democrat. If you don't wear a mask, you're a Trumper. No, that's not true.
That is
Okay?
not true at all.
Not
No.
even true.
Not even
close.
true.
But it's been so politicized, and I don't trust Fauci. Even this thing about him making this big deal about him throwing out the baseball at the Yankees game. I don't really care. I'm sorry, not interested. Fauci's not suddenly the wizard and suddenly this highly honorable person. If you look at the fact that he was telling us, as Jimmy Dore covered that piece, he was telling us not to wear masks. He was telling us, I remember that too. And he was telling us that they haven't proven that effective. He talked about the microns. He talked about, so let's do the social distancing. And then he admits later on, and it was televised, it was covered, he admits, but they downplayed it. But the reason why he said that was because he wanted to make sure, because supplies were low, and he wanted to make sure the supplies were going to be available for the first responders and the people in the front line that were treating the patients,
Exactly.
the medical personnel.
You can't trust the liar. So, even mea culping, he was going to be found out anyway, so he cut his losses, I guess.
Yeah.
But nobody's talking about our supply chain, our food chain. The country knew coronavirus could ravage its farm workers, and they've done basically nothing. They're just discarding them. So the food chain's going to start taking the big hits, like you just said a few seconds ago. When it starts biting people in their ability to get their groceries, to do the things that they're used to at ease. And I'm not talking about entertainment. I'm not talking about the movies and things like that. I'm talking about all of it. It's going to really hit home here because, again, all of your toys are getting taken away, and things are going to change rapidly over the next 120 days. This is going to be a roller coaster ride from hell, in my opinion.
Now tell me why you're isolating 120 days.
Because that's when the year ends up. That's when it finishes out. That's the prime selling season, the prime party season. The most of our capitalist society, I believe, has the biggest gains or losses during that period of time. And if everything is not started on schedule, like Christmas gets shipped and it lands in the docks.
We're not going to have a Black Friday.
No, you're gonna make Jeff Bezos billions this year. He's gonna make billions on the holidays. Bezos and whoever else has whatever fingers in the internet ordering scheme. But the brick and mortar outfits are gonna die. And I know they're flipping over right now and trying to improve their ordering. And I don't even want to get into that after trying to get your stuff for you. But Bezos is going to make another killing. He's going to be a solid trillionaire after fourth quarter 2020. He's going to be the trillionaire.
And also look at other industries. I mean, Bezos definitely. I agree with you. Bezos he's hard to stop.
Yeah, I think he's unstoppable.
He has to be stopped by the SEC, the FTC, the Federal Trade Commission, for his monopoly.
Yeah.
I mean, he should be forced to divest.
Yeah. Well, a Biden presidency isn't going to pressure him either. Biden presidency is going to help the likes of Jeff Bezos. Sorry, gang, but that's what's going to happen. I would see.
I don't. We're not going to find solutions.
No,
Let's face it, in either
No.
candidate.
no, none.
I mean,
None.
Trump made it sound like he was going after Jeff Bezos. Wow, like throw me in that briar patch.
Yeah,
that worked
whatever.
out really well for Jeff, huh?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, what did he make? 13 billion in one day?
Yeah.
What was that all about? How do you do
Yep.
that? How do you do that? I don't know how you do that. And that
Yeah.
and that news just breaking, true or false, we know he made a ton of money, but that to me was flaunting in the press. I mean, their arrogance is so beyond the pale anymore. They flaunt everything they do in the press. So, it's go ahead, you can't do anything.
They
And-
don't have. They lack that gene, or they lack the capacity. Let's put it that way. They lack the capacity. I mean, I have my last relationship, my husband, he came from that society. Okay, certainly not Bezos, but he came from a different background. I came from a pretty good, comfortable background, but we were not elites by any stretch of the imagination. But I think we were comfortable middle class. But my ex-husband came. He was white Anglo-Saxon Protestant, Princeton, Hotchkiss Prep, Rye Country Day, silver spoon in the mouth. His parents took the Concorde. I think they took the Concorde out to France every spring, and they took the QE2 back. Okay, so didn't exactly live. I didn't live like that. I didn't see my parents live like that. And what I can tell you is it was an eye opener. As I got to know his family, and as I got to know those that he associated with, some good people and some people that were really, when you talk about insular and you talk about having no clue what it's like to really have to struggle or work hard for a living or to do without, these people were completely blind. I mean, I would sit at dinner parties and I was doing everything I could not have my jaw open, my mouth open, because it's like, and they would say things because they were very comfortable, because we were all in this social circle that I don't think they understood, didn't fall well on my ears. And these are the same people that are ruling, these are the ruling elites. I mean, I literally sat next to at a dinner party. He was to my left. He was my dinner companion, C. Boyden Gray. He's the White House counsel for George Bush, and related to my ex's family. And nice man, but I got to tell you what, it doesn't even occur to them to think in the terms that we think in, to think about the issues of want, the issues of injustice, the issues like what white privilege really is. So what really bothers me, and I'm talking about this because what really bothers me is when we as progressives lose sight, we lose track of what really is going on in Portland and what that was really about. It was about Black Lives Matter. It was about all the Black men and women that have died at the hands of racists, that have died because of systemic racist. We've lost track of that. We've allowed Trump and whoever, those on the street who are white supremacists, who are doing everything they can to gaslight the real protesters. If you are biting on the narratives that this is about controlling, only about controlling anarchists and only about protecting federal property, and that this is the big outrage, I'm sorry, I do not really want to hear from you, because it's not what that is about. It's not. you are playing into that attempt to derail what Black Lives Matter was about. So that bothers me, because how many people have you heard lately actually talking about Black Lives Matter?
No, it's been about the riots themselves and how they're burning up things and burning the flag and putting graffiti on walls, and I don't hear Black Lives Matter mentioned in the same sentence.
No, it's like, oh yeah, that's what it was about. Yeah, that's what it was about. That's so. I don't want to. I'm just going to keep bringing it back to that Black Lives Matter, and it's about systemic racism. I saw a great. I think Rolf Fries put it up. He posted it, but I don't remember.
Yeah, I think I saw that. What you're talking about too.
Yeah, it was wonderful. The woman, her name was Shamika from Lexington, from Kentucky.
Yeah, I think that's.
And she was wonderful. She was talking about how she ended up, she had run for office. She ended up finally, she went to college. She got herself through college, but she was a 15-year-old single mom. She ended up getting a police record. She was a felon. And it was, if you hear the story, it was the stupidest way. I mean, she was a kid. It was like what she did was nothing, but because of the personal scenario, she ended up getting a felony record, and she was also incarcerated because she couldn't post bail. She was incarcerated, and it was the pre-trial incarceration. Wasn't that? I think that's what it was called.
Yeah.
And it's, overwhelmingly part of was what happens to poor Black people. And it was a really, really sad story. You said there's a lag, Cheryl Ann? I'm sorry. Is there a lag on our end you can see, Rick? Are they scrambling us?
No, it's
They
fine.
jamming us?
You're all right at my end. It looks
Okay.
it looks fine. But yeah, no, that story was.
All right.
Yeah,
But I mean, what's happening there, what she's talking about is what we should be talking about, because it was about systemic racism and how she was right on point, and she was talking about how when she got that felony conviction, the reason she got the felony conviction is because she couldn't afford bail, so she was stuck in this for a long time in pretrial incarceration because she couldn't post bail. So she eventually, when they came up to her, she eventually had to plea bargain. She said, "Fine, I'll take the felony thing, the conviction," because she wanted to be home with her child. She was a single mom. She missed her child. She missed being home. She couldn't afford it, and so they had her between a rock and a hard place.
Yep. Take a plea, ruin your life. Ruin your life.
Yeah. So. All right, they're saying no lag here.
Yeah, they're good.
Chris Harold Collins said it's fine. She said it's mostly Cheryl Ann. Was been. That sucks.
Yeah, well, one of these days we're going to have the final lag where they pull the plug on all of us, so get ready.
Yeah.
I'll be gardening.
Get our shots in now, right?
Get our shots in now, so.
She says it's my net, but then it keeps lagging so bad I lose the feed.
Yeah, the buffering, it catches
Maybe
up.
go in and go out, Cheryl Ann.
Yeah.
I mean, we're getting ready to close. Unless there's something you guys want us to hit, so happy to do it. But did you have anything, Rick? I didn't want to cut you off.
No, that's all right. No, believe me, I'm on walkabout trying to find my marbles. But why don't you talk about your upcoming show? What you have thoughts about it?
Yeah, actually, I'm going to be calling Cheryl. She's gardening. Cheryl Ann, I am going to be calling you. I'm getting finally close to the point where I can do so. She's one of the people I'm going to be consulting,
Yay.
As well as my bombers, on some things having to do with the new show. I've mentioned it before. It's Truth Be Known, and Rick and I have been working on it. We're getting closer to getting ready to put this first segment together, the first launch. It will be on YouTube, and we'll be streaming it. Where?
It'll be on every platform that I can put it on. It'll be on Twitch. It'll be on YouTube. It'll be on Facebook. It'll be on
Twitter?
Just tons. Twitter, yeah, all of them. We just have the IO Restream now, so I will be getting that configured. So that's one more piece of the big puzzle, which all of our shows will be streamed on those platforms. So I'm looking forward to it, Suzanne. You're going to have to do these shows just to keep me sane, because my show drives me crazy.
And you
So,
keep me sane too.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
like, and you know what? The bombers keep me sane too.
Yeah,
They
absolutely.
absolutely keep me sane. They keep me grounded. They're my. I don't think they really truly understand what they mean to me.
Yeah.
You guys are. You do me solid. That's all I can say.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
and I'm proud to be associated with you. That's the other thing, is to prepare you for the fact that I'm going to be coming out. Nico is as well, and a few other people that I'm pulling in. We're gonna be hitting the issue of Joe Kennedy, JK3, Joe Kennedy III, pretty hard, because it's an opportunity. He's actually up in the polls, and that is an opportunity for us to get out an incumbent who's done nothing. So you will see me hitting that on social media.
Yeah, it was posted. Somebody said he's been in government for since
long.
1976. Give it a break, man. And
Yeah.
Joe Kennedy's going to be around a lot longer, so let's get him in there. Let's get the younger ones in there. Hopefully they will have a more progressive agenda. If they don't, we'll make them have one. So that's what we
We
gotta
have
do.
to. We can't
have
let
to.
up on the pressure. And all of you, I see you. I see your posting. Please don't. You feel like you're shouting into the void. You're not. We have to keep going. I do believe that Facebook and Twitter, they're starting to understand, despite their best efforts to the contrary, that our issues that we lament and the things that we talk about and the things we're fighting for, they are gaining traction. Think about it, you guys. Think back to before Bernie ran in 2015. We weren't talking about what we're talking about back then or even now. Look at how much the issues we've been talking about and we've been caring passionately about, how much they are making it into the mainstream narratives. That's progress, and we got to remember that. They see it, we see it, and we have to remember, when we feel like we're losing it and we aren't getting anywhere and we're fighting an uphill battle, yeah, it feels that way, and we are, but we are moving the needle a lot more than we give ourselves credit for.
Yeah, just
So,
look at where you
hang in
were.
there.
Yeah, look at where you were in 2015. Where I was in
Mm-hmm.
2015, we were starting to do a little show called Progressive Washington. I bailed out and said, hey, I need to build a platform. And this is
Mm-hmm.
where we're at today. We've got multiple shows running. We're bringing on great showrunners like Suzanne and Amber and Shanda.
Shanda, yeah.
And
Yep.
we have one from Germany now that's solid on Uphill Media. We're getting ready
Mm-hmm.
to activate Roar Media as our companion platform, so that will be available
Right.
too. And we're going to build another studio, hopefully in the next year.
Awesome.
So yeah, we just need more hands on deck. So if you want to come on board
Yep.
and work with it, please
And
let me know.
please share the content,
Yeah.
share it wide. I am streaming privately into TBA, but people can't see your comments outside of TBA, even though we are interacting.
I showed Ginger Liberty's raccoon, so I'm sorry. That's not
Oh.
quite true. I didn't think the raccoon would hurt. So there we go.
No, the raccoon won't hurt.
Yeah, so anyway. Yeah.
All right. So we're gonna close it here. We need to focus. Margarita says that we need to focus on the issues, not politicians. Absolutely. And when we do focus on politicians, whether it's positively or we have to bring forward some critique, we need to be informed. We can't just be jumping on
No, you
the
can't,
bandwagon.
You
We
can't
can't
cowboy
just
those
be-
guys. They're too much of a threat to our democracy. So yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm all for the issues, but I didn't throw that ugly stone of optics and they did this and peeking into their bedrooms. I was always about the issues. But then again, look where we're at these days. Look how they're winning these elections. They're giving us a stump to run against a fascist. Who do you pick, the stump or the fascist? Well, I guess
Right.
you're going to go with the stump, but that's not anything to do with the issues. So anyway.
I think that's the only thing I can give Biden, and I'm giving it to him begrudgingly, and I'm giving it to him with caveats and asterisks and every other type of disclaimer. I will give it to him. I do not think he would be so stupid as to do, or so brazen as to do what Donald Trump has done with Portland and with the troops. I don't think he would go to that level. Again, Obama did it allowed a private company, the fossil fuel company industry. What was it? What was it? Tennessee? What pipeline was that? I forget the pipeline.
The
company.
Dakota Pipeline, or
Yeah, the Dakota Access Pipeline. But what was the name of the company behind it?
oh God, it was a Canadian company, wasn't it?
I don't remember. See, that's the problem. I'm driving.
I
drawing a blank.
thought it was a subsidiary of BP, but I could be wrong. So
But they hired a private. They hired those private Blackwater, whoever you want to call them, security people to do what they did to DAPL.
yeah.
Those weren't federal. Obama didn't hire them. He didn't fight. He didn't push back. He certainly didn't do anything to stop it. But those were not federal paratroopers or stormtroopers that were sent in to address the issues with indigenous tribes. And I don't think Biden would be that ill-advised, or the people who are handling him, because I don't really know how competent Biden is, quite frankly.
No, yeah. I had that conversation earlier today. It's not going to be
Yeah.
Biden. It's going to be who's pulling his strings.
Right.
Sorry,
right.
Joe.
It's the puppeteers.
Yeah,
The puppeteers.
it's the puppeteers.
I think they would know enough not to, particularly watching what's happening in Portland.
Yeah.
And, the attack on the mayor, granted, whether you like the mayor or not, he was saying, when he was attacked, he was saying things that were working in our favor, that were validating and helping elevate the issues that the progressives were saying were happening on the ground, that these were not all violent people, that there was no violence going on when he got pepper spray. So it's incendiary. Their presence there is to provoke and to instigate. It's
Exactly.
incendiary. It's not about quelling the protests. It's about developing a pretext to bring in more troops.
Yeah, and they're choreographing this whole thing. Anybody with two cents to rub together can see how they order them in the buildings, order them out the buildings, shoot gas off. Okay, you're going to get protesters to throw a firecracker at you or whatever. They're supplying a lot of the stuff like the frozen water bottles. Those are being supplied. It's no difference from the pallets of bricks that were dropped in these other states. So, and a lot of those people who are throwing those things that can actually really hurt somebody, they're probably not part of the peaceful protesters.
They're not. So, it's a lot of serious gaslighting going on there.
Big time.
But I am not going to stop supporting the protesters for Black Lives Moving or bringing about the issues about poverty and the inequities of the CARES Act and how this country is suffering. These are marginalized communities and populations. I am not going to back off of that because somebody's going to hurl some BS label on me that I must be caving into the neolibs. No, I'm not.
Oh my gosh! Last
It's
thing.
not about them.
Yeah.
It's not about the neolibs. It's not. I'm not supporting neoliberalism
Well-
because I'm calling out something that is legit actually happening.
Let me test you on that. Let me test you on that statement you just made. Now, tell us everything that Joe Biden has done as far as calling out the Portland and the Seattle issues. Tell us about everything that Joe Biden's done. Let's see how big of a neoliberal supporter you are. Come on, Suzanne.
Yeah, I can tell you said one thing. It was in Reuters, and it was basically Trump's act. What Trump is doing in Portland is egregious, and full stop. That's all he said.
Wow.
Hasn't said anything since. I challenge anybody to please do let me know. Drop a link because I've not heard anything since. And he should be on every major network, every Sunday morning show, talking about how awful this is.
He doesn't need to. It's going to.
What he would do if he were president, and how it needs to stop. And
That's right.
This is an impeachable offense. I mean.
You mean show some leadership because
Yeah,
he's trying to
exactly.
go for the highest office in the land? That? I don't think the man's capable of it at this point in his life. So sorry.
No. And so we've got, like you say, we've got Trump and you've got Stump.
Stump. You got Trump
and Stump.
Trump and Stump. It's the Trump and Stump show. So, sorry,
Yeah.
and I feel like a hypocrite because what did Nancy Pelosi is calling Trump names now? That's her resistance. What is making things worse, man, or something like that? So she's calling him names and she's turning around and giving him funding to fund DHS to send to Portland and Chicago and Seattle.
Right. Give him more money.
Give more money to do that.
Send more troops.
Yeah.
And I got to tell you what's even more horrendous. Can we see the? Can you bring the feedback? The bombers.
The bomber seats? Oh,
Yeah,
sorry.
no.
Yeah, and by the way, thanks again, Dennis McCartney, for your $5 to help us. That was great.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, there you go.
Okay. So somebody's talking about Cambridge.
Cambridge Analytica, is that what they're talking about? Cambridge
Or
Analytica.
maybe that's Cambridge, Boston. Yeah, that's the bridge behind me. That's what the Tobin Bridge used to be. That's the new big bridge. It's not new anymore. Well, we had the big dig.
How do you pay for that in Boston? Is that toll paid, or how do you guys pay for your stuff there?
No, I think there is a toll. It's been so long since I've been over. I think there is a toll.
Okay.
We do have the Massachusetts Turnpike toll, but it's not part of the. I don't think it's part of the Turnpike Authority. Not really. No. I mean, I know it's been paid for, or
Okay.
we're paying for it.
So
I know we also got federal funds,
Okay, so federal funds.
and
Okay.
I think actually Ted Kennedy was part of that. So
Okay.
and a few others. I don't know if our friend who's running to protect his seat was, but it created a lot of controversy when it was launched, or when they started the project, and when it went into conception. They conceptualized it and then started. It was I believe it was at the time the nation's biggest single public infrastructure project. Very costly, very, very costly. And my office is down there. You can't see it, but my Boston office is down there at the time, and it's in the financial district on Franklin Street. And I used to have to go into the South Station area. And every time, I swear to God, every other day I went in there. It seemed like every other week, anyways. They would change because of construction. They would change how I had to get out. Became really interesting. Just leaving work, it's like, how am I leaving today? And if I didn't get out of Dodge by 3:30, I was there for the night. So, it's interesting. I'm trying to remember what they call it, the bridge, and I'm drawing a blank. It's really bad.
Oh.
Tiger Swan Energy Partners, Energy Transfer Partners. That's it, Jennifer. That's what it was called. Yeah, because that's what they were doing. They were transferring the pipeline to go from Canada down, or from Canada to Canada. I think it was going to Canada, and then they were going to sell it. That's who collected the data to coerce the people to vote for Trump, or so they say. I'm missing some of that. They just put out a report. The oil still isn't cleaned up. They had it. They had a leak. Didn't they have a leak in the pipeline?
Yeah.
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 Several. Boston is a city with tons of lights. I saw it in aerial. I mean, yeah, we like our lights. We like our lights. I gotta tell you what sucks though is like our sports. That's. I mean, we're title town as far as I'm concerned, and it's going to be a big deal not having our professional sports teams. So interesting. All right, so that's kind of like where I'm at. It was good to see you guys on the chat. Thank you, Rick, for bringing that in. I love it when we can share with the bombers.
Well, let's give them a sample of your theme for your show in the outgo credits so they can see, and then we'll go. And thank you so much for having your engineer on tonight.
Thank you, engineer, for being on, or I wouldn't be here.
Yeah, well, no, that's great. And again, thanks to everybody on Rockfin and YouTube and Facebook. Bombers, thanks for hanging out with us.
Take care. Hey, see you later, bombers. See you soon.
Have a great night.
Great seeing you all.
This is Suzanne's theme. This is how it's going to look for outgo credits, and we'll see you next time.
Okay.